أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم والضحى والليل إذا سجى ما ودعك ربك وما قلى وللآخرة خير لك من الأولى ولسوف يعطيك ربك فترضى. Surah Duha, this is our 27th lesson. Inshallah, we'll try to do Surah Duha and Alam Nashrah together. This is 11 in Revelation after Surah Fajr, so very early time. And the ulama talks about, they go lots of background information, lots of stories. Some of them are weak, some of them are non-relatable. So if you were to go to the stories part, it requires explanation. Then our lesson will be more of a seerah than tafsir. So we leave that to a side. But basically, the ulama say that this surah, and there are few surahs that we'll mention inshallah, they are reviewed to give comfort to Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam, especially with Duha, that there was a gap between the revelation, so there was a pause, and Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam got worried, and people start saying things about him. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, when this surah was reviewed, this gave a comfort to Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam. But keeping that to a side, so this is like what relates to Shan Nuzuli. Now here, these surahs, from here, all the from Ad-Duha till the end, look at the linking of these surahs, yeah? Inshallah will be beneficial later on. So from Ad-Duha till the end of the Quran, the ulama say, like in here are all the main subjects of the Quran has been mentioned. In Surah Duha and Alam Nashrah and in Bayyina, in there Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives proofs on the Sadaqat Rasul, the truthfulness of prophethood. And in Surah Teen, Wateen wa Zaytoon, in here is Tawheed, Alaq, and Surah Qadr, here is Sadaqat Quran, the truthfulness of the book, the Quran. Zilzal and Qari'ah, so it talks about Iman on Akhirah. And from till Surah Ma'un, from all the way after Surah Qari'ah till Surah Ma'un, there are 7 surahs. And here Allah gives a reprimand to the criminals and to avoid evil traits that some of these criminals have. And at the end, after that, from Inna A'tainaka al-Kawthar till the end of the surah, and here Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala speaks to the people of Quran, like special talks have been, special thing has been done to the people of Quran. But now coming back to the surah itself, that there are 4 surahs in Quran where Rasul sallallahu alayhi wasallam has been addressed throughout. So the subject has not been changed. Like there are, like Ya ayyuhan nabiyyu lima tuharrimu, Ya ayyuhan nabiyyu idha talaqtum. The speech starts from speaking to Rasul sallallahu alayhi wasallam and so on. But at the end or in the middle, the person who Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is speaking to changes. But there are 4 surahs in Quran where the subject does not change whatsoever. It is throughout, from start to the end. It is a speech to Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam is addressed, and these are 4. So one of them is the one we're doing today. So Ad-Duha. The other one is Inna A'tainaka al-Kawthar and Idha Ja'a Nasrullahi wal Fath and Alam Nashrah. So these 2 surahs and the one which we have already done, Kawthar and Idha Ja'a Nasrullah. These 4 are linked together basically. Yeah? These 4 surahs are linked together. So the last ayah of which is Surah Duha, ya wa amma bi ni'mati rabbika fahaddith. This talks about the Quran, that you need to proclaim what he has been given to you. And this is actually in Inna A'tainaka al-Kawthar, which is the Kawthar. Remember, yeah? Who remembers what was Kawthar? It's one das, and the other one was, in this dunya is what? Quran. This in this dunya is the Quran, in the Akhirah you'll get Kawthar. If you live this Kawthar, the one Allah has given to you, mean this Quran, you will be able to drink from the Kawthar which is in the river. And we remember, we said the narration as well, yeah, that one of the Sahabi, someone asked that we assume that it is talking about the Kawthar in the Jannah. Then it was responded back that Kawthar is part of the goodness that Allah has given to Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Now in Alam Nashrah, Yeah, in Alam Nashrah, which is the next surah, yeah? We done the Wadduha and linked it with Inna A'tainaka al-Kawthar. The next surah is Alam Nashrah. And in here Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, after difficulties, ease will come. And what did he say? What was the fourth surah that was speaking to Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam directly? إِذَا جَاءَ نَصْرُ اللَّهِ. In there, what does he say? When the help and the victory of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala comes. So after difficulties, after issues, after battles and so on, the message of Islam spread, the help of Allah came in. Does that make sense? The end of that surah says, فَسَبِّحْ بِحَمْدِ رَبِّكَ وَاسْتَغْفِرْ. Meaning you glorify Allah subhanahu, you praise, meaning you put yourself in the obedience of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you push, you hard, you do whatever you can in your capacity when you have reached that level, meaning you attribute to Allah all these blessings and things like that. And in this surah the same thing is happening, which we will be able to learn. فَإِذَا فَرَغْتَ فَانْصَبْ وَإِلَىٰ رَبِّكَ فَارْغَبْ. So the surahs are so beautifully coherent, but if we had an hour just to link these four surahs together, then you would have understood better, but that's not possible. Okay, the claim of the surah, which is tasalli lil nabiyya, it is a comfort, a solace to Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam. But if it is to Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam, the surah should have been revealed and then that's it, done. Why we do have it in the Quran? Every time this question will come, yeah. So you need to be aware, how do we link it out with ourselves? How it is relevant to my time? How the comfort of Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam is related to my comfort, basically, yeah. In this surah and these few surahs where comfort is given to Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam, it is very vital, and especially the times and the situation that we people are going through. That when you see that everywhere is darkness, like you don't see any light whatsoever in the tunnel, yeah? In that kind of situation, you should come back to these surahs and look into it, and then Allah will give you a bright picture out there. So same thing is happening. So it's related to every single human being who is going through any source of difficulties, any source of problems, no matter what kind of problems, what is this, financial problems or family problems or any problems. Yeah, he needs to come back to this Quran and these surahs, and they will give them a comfort. And this will also relate to those people who newly convert to Islam. They newly become Muslim. And there are so many things that they need to do, yeah, and people bombard them with so many things. Basically, you need to do, they give them like a library, and the guy has just said La ilaha illallah, and then, yeah, so the situation is sometimes very difficult for these guys. So it is a solace, it is a comfort for them. Like they can go, you can refer them, go check out Wadduha, check out Alam Nashrah, and then you will have some sort of comfort. So it is very much related to our time. It is very much related to every single person, no matter who they are. Everyone will be going. There will come a time where things become tight. Yeah, there will come a time when the difficulties become too much. Yeah, they feel like you are crumbled down to the floor and there is no way lifting up. Like look at the Ummah, the situation of the Ummah. Yeah, we are being humbled. We are to put on the floor, like we are, even the sheet. Yeah, these things will have some sort of purpose, and we don't. Yeah, that's what it seems like. This thing will sometime fight back. Yeah, we will fight back with things, germs and things like that, but we don't, we can't. Yeah, we are nothing. So at this time, the Ummah, if the Ummah look at these surahs, inshallah they will come out from their sorry state where they feel like they are worthless. They will see what they have with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Okay, so this is relating and linking the claim of these surahs. So these are the two surahs basically, yes, same claim, so we don't have to repeat. Okay, now look at the surah itself. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala brings two witnesses, which is Wadduha and Layl, in the first two ayat. And then Allah gives three comforts to Rasul sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, which are read here, till وَلَسَوْفَ يُعْطِيكَ رَبُّكَ فَتَرْضَى, till there. These three comforts have been given to Rasul sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. And in there, basically, just to expand upon it so you can understand, that the two contrasting things that have been talked about, the day which is bright, beautiful, everything is clear, and then talks about the night which is still and dark and there's like nothing movement whatsoever. So completely opposite. However, they are both in need. If any of them is missing, then there is a problem, and then we'll discuss that. So same thing, Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam has been informed that this wahi stopping and pausing and things like that, there is a wisdom in that. There is a need of it being stopping and then going. And after all, like how the night and day is in the control of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, same is the wahi. Like that is in the sunnah of Allah, it is from the His way that things happen, and gradually same thing will happen to it. So like the day cannot just choose that I'm coming about 2 hours early today. It's not going to happen. It's going to come the way Allah has given it, its order. So same thing will happen to the wahi that is coming to Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam. 6 to 8, there are 3 conditions of Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and then 3 blessings of Allah on him before prophethood. So 3 blessings that Allah gave to Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam before prophethood. Yeah, so if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala did not leave you then, what about now? Is He going to leave now when you are the prophet, when you have been chosen as a messenger from Allah subhanahu? So meaning this is not possible whatsoever. Ayah number 9 to 11. Now change your focus from yourself and think about the people around you. Yeah, so now you need to show thankfulness for the blessings that Allah has given to you. And there are 3 ways that have been identified that one needs to appreciate. So blessings are given, and in the same way you need to appreciate that. There are a few things, but I'm skipping that because we got a lot of other things to do. Linking with the previous surah. In the previous surah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives solace, gives comfort to the ummah of Rasul sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Yeah. وَاللَّيْلِ إِذَا يَغْشَى وَالنَّهَارِ إِذَا تَجَلَّى وَمَا خَلَقَ الذَّكَرَ وَالْأُنثَى إِنَّ سَعْيَكُمْ لَشَتَّى. Everyone are working, everyone are laboring. Yeah. Everyone are doing that. And then فَأَمَّا مَنْ أَعْطَى وَاتَّقَى. So there is like a comfort that's been given to the people. And in here, it is given to their prophet. Or in there, the other way, yeah. In there, it starts from وَاللَّيْلِ. It starts from the night. Yeah. Does it? Look. It starts from layl, yeah. And in here, it starts from Munir. It is what time in the night? Morning. Okay, so it's a daylight basically, open, and it comes in a different place. Allah has uses for like it's a bright day basically. The example of the ummah is that the ummah was in darkness, the people were in darkness, and Allah sent light, which is Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Does that make sense? How it's linked together? The ummah is the night, and Ad-Duha is the example of Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam, the message that he came with. In there, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, it says, yeah, the pious people, yeah, إِلَّا ابْتِغَاءَ وَجْهِ رَبِّهِ الْأَعْلَى وَلَسَوْفَ يَرْضَى, meaning the anjam, the natija of the pious people in the Jannah, in the Akhirah. And in here, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala continues in that same fashion, yeah, that the وَالضُّحَى وَاللَّيْلِ إِذَا سَجَى, the comfort is being given, the reminders are being given that Allah has given you so many blessings in this dunya, and Allah will never abandon you. وَإِنَّ لَنَا لَلْآخِرَةَ وَالْأُولَى, which is coming later on. وَالْآخِرَةُ خَيْرٌ لَكَ مِنَ الْأُولَى, yeah, which is read the other part. Okay, same. The ayah is actually the link as well, yeah. وَإِنَّ لَنَا لَلْآخِرَةَ وَالْأُولَى. And here is وَالْآخِرَةُ خَيْرٌ لَكَ مِنَ الْأُولَى. Is it? Yeah. وَإِنَّ لَنَا لَلْآخِرَةَ وَالْأُولَى is in the previous surah, and in here is وَلَلْآخِرَةُ خَيْرٌ لَكَ مِنَ الْأُولَى. So this is another link which came by accident. Yeah. But this one, وَلَلْآخِرَةُ خَيْرٌ لَكَ مِنَ الْأُولَى, yeah, is if it's linked to this time where Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam is, which we said 11, yeah, in Revelation. So it's very early period. Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam will be given lots of companions. He will be given lots of say in the world. He will be a conqueror when he comes back and he takes over the same place. So meaning Allah will give him lots in the future in that fashion. So in Akhirah there is goodness, which it says وَلَسَوْفَ يَرْضَى, the last surah. And in this dunya there is goodness for those people who stands with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And one more, and then we'll finish. Yeah. And there Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says وَصَدَّقَ بِالْحُسْنَى. What is the al-husna? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells you here, وَأَمَّا بِنِعْمَةِ رَبِّكَ فَحَدِّثْ. It is the Quran itself. So that husna is the Quran, which is here. Okay, going to the surah itself. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. In the name of Allah, the King, the Gracious, the one from who no one is free of need. So everyone needs Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. His mercy, His affection, love, and a reminder. Ar-Rahman, the entirely merciful, who has done a favor on all alam by sending them a prophet, sallallahu alayhi wasallam. The especially merciful, Ar-Rahim, the one who will give Jannati Na'im to his pious servants. وَالضُّحَى, by the morning brightness. وَالضُّحَى we have already discussed here in the previous surah what it is and what kind of benefits we take out. But one thing which is related to the theme of the surah, when it's related to the wahy, yeah? The wahy has been stopped, has been paused for a while. What does it do? This وَالضُّحَى is a time in the day, the ulama say, that you can look at the sky, the sun, and it's not going to burn your eyes, basically. Yeah. So same thing, the wahy. The wahy is too heavy. The wahy Allah has mentioned in various places, and you can look at various narration of the hadith, like how tough it was when it used to be revealed on Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So what it is the example of this wahy that Allah has made it soften. Allah has made it easy for Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam to take and for us to absorb the Quran. Yeah. It is an easy subject. It is an easy understanding of Quran. But the Mufassirun and the people who sits in front of the Quran, they make it so difficult, like you are climbing to the sky. Yeah. But in the reality, Quran itself is easy. Does that make sense? Like we have people who are always confused. Like, can you not make it easier? Yeah. But in the reality, وَلَقَدْ يَسَّرْنَا الْقُرْآنِ. Quran is easy. Yeah. But it's just because people have written million books on it. Okay. Continuing forward, and there is one point in here that some people say, yeah, the people of the book basically, they have written that وَالضُّحَى here signifies the hair of Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam, that it is on this Allah has sworn. Yeah, there is a tafseer basically. I'm not going to give you the name, so you're not going to know it anyway. This is our fabrication. Yeah, it doesn't have anything to do with Islam. It's these people, strange people. Yeah. Going to next ayah. وَاللَّيْلِ إِذَا سَجَى, and the night when it covers with darkness. Yeah, and they says سَجَى الْبَحْرِ, when the sea is calm and there's like no waves and it's very quiet. So it's like completely opposite of the day. However, there is need of the night. Yeah, like I think there are some sort of punishment that have been given to the cell prisoners, those people who go to prisons. Yeah. That they leave 24 hours the light on, so it is a torture for them. They cannot sleep, they cannot do things properly, and it's always hurting their eyes and things like that. So it will be a kind of punishment, if torture. It will be that if it was like in that same fashion. Same thing, this wahy, Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he needs to absorb it, he needs to think about it, he needs to ponder over it, how he is needed to relate to the people. So there needs to be gap. There needs to be you can, like for example, in a day-to-day life, you want to achieve certain tasks, you want to achieve a degree and things like that, you need to have rest, you need to have vacation, like in the classes. You cannot have focus all the time. So there needs to be a gap, needs to be given to you. So same thing with the wahy, that this is a need, there is a hikmah in that. It is not because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala does not love you, it is because it is the way of Allah, and there is a need for it, that it needs to stop for a while. So it relates to that basically. Continuing forward. مَا وَدَّعَكَ رَبُّكَ وَمَا قَلَى. Your Lord has not taken leave of you, nor has he detested you. And the ulama gives example. Yes, so this is jawab qasam basically. It says وَقَوْلُهُ مَا وَدَّعَكَ رَبُّكَ أي ما تركك, meaning by saying مَا وَدَّعَكَ, the first portion, meaning Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala hasn't taken any leave from you. And the other one says وَمَا قَلَى, we mean وَمَا أَبْغَضَكَ, meaning Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala does not hate you. He does not detest you. So there are two ways, to understand this, even though there is lots of talk, but we'll make it simple for you to understand. We make things simple now. There are two things mentioned. مَا وَدَّعَكَ رَبُّكَ. One, when Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam is giving the da'wah basically, and he gives da'wah and people are not accepting, and people are like if he has touched the home of a bees, when it becomes that is the situation of Makkah basically now. And Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam might be thinking, because he's a human being, that the wahy is not coming, and maybe I haven't done the right job. That's why people are not accepting Islam, and there are so many people that has come against me and so on, even though the message is pure and it's clean, it hits the home, but still people are not accepting. So I might have done something wrong, and on top of that, Allah is not sending me any revelation, so maybe Allah has abandoned me. So this is one way of ulama saying this is what it relates to. And وَمَا قَلَى وَمَا أَبْغَضَكَ, meaning Allah does not detest you, Allah does not hate you. This is the situation of the criminals, That they used to say, na'udhu billah, about Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and these are the narration, yeah, I'm not going to say that it is evil saying, but they used to say that Allah has abandoned you, Allah does not like you, Allah hates you. Basically, this is the situation, like the way they were taunting Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam. One is the feeling of Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and the other is what the people are saying. So that both has been captured in this ayah according to the people's opinion. By now, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala saying, yeah, that Allah comes, and we'll link it with the next surah because it will make it easier for us to understand. And there it says, وَوَضَعْنَا عَنْكَ وِزْرَكَ الَّذِي أَنْقَضَ ظَهْرَكَ, and we remove from you your burden which had weighed upon your back. So this will be the Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sending the revelation back, and the burden has been removed from Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam, his feelings, or the people saying and taunting and things like that. This is one understanding. But the other ulama gives, like, how, so it will be completely removed from the actual revelation part. Concentrate on this, yeah, so you can understand. You see, in a society, in a masjid, or in an environment, those people who are very thoughtful of the environment, they really care. They are really worried about the youngsters. They are really worried about people going to pubs and clubs and drugs and having bad friends, and they are being taken away by services, things like that, yeah. Meaning they do not have good life, basically. They will think about things in the society so they can reform, yeah. Is that normal? That happens, yeah. Is that right, yeah? Who agrees? You will think, yeah, to reform the people. If you are concerned, if you have any source of humanity, basically, yeah. Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam, Allah had given him pure fitrah, which was not diluted in any way, shape or form. So as when he used to go to Hira, that's what he used to do. He used to ponder. So this was from his ibadat, that he used to ponder over this situation. This Meccan, these people whom Allah had honored with this house, look at what barbarism they have reached. Whether it's tribalism, whether it's interest, whether it's burning their own children, selling their own religion, whatever, any field that you can think about, yeah, they had it. And we have it as well. It's not like they had it, we have a double, we have gone ahead of them. They are our followers, we are their imams, yeah. Just think, anything, any filth in the Meccans, we have it double and triple, yeah. Does that make sense? So we have that problem. So it's not like it has gone. So Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam will be thinking and pondering over the situation. So Allah revealed to him a guidance, a syllabus with which he can take out these people from this filth. So this will relate to these two ayats. Yeah, so the two things that has been happening in here. وَلَسَوْفَ يُعْطِيكَ رَبُّكَ فَتَرْضَى, in there, and in here is, as we mentioned, وَوَضَعْنَا عَنْكَ وِزْرَكَ الَّذِي أَنْقَضَ ظَهْرَكَ. Does that make sense? That Allah removed the burden from you. Though He wants that His people come back to humanity, basically. And in here, مَا وَدَّعَكَ رَبُّكَ وَمَا قَلَى, to relate it to our time. Your Lord has not taken leave of you, nor has He detested you. Like sometime, yeah, we as a human being, we work and we do so many things, and then we go far away from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and then you feel like Allah does not like me, or the connection with Allah becomes less. Like in Ramadan, it's a different situation. After Ramadan is a different situation, yeah. Your iman goes down and things like that, and you feel like, yeah, you are too far away from Allah, basically. That's this kind of feeling you get. So these kind of surahs will remind you back that Allah is always ready and accepting you. So you come back to Allah. As soon as you turn to Allah, Allah's doors are always open to you. So you can relate it in that situation to our life. وَلَلْآخِرَةُ خَيْرٌ لَكَ مِنَ الْأُولَى, and the hereafter is better for you than the first. So we have mentioned the other point here, that it relates to the worldly life, and that is more coherent when we link it with this surah, especially if it is akhirah. We already know, yeah, what you're going to get in this dunya is full of problems, is full of issues. So no matter where you are, whether you are king, queen, pop star and movie star, whatever thing you are, basically, whatever gun you are, there will always be problems in your life. You will never be away from problems. So always akhirah is better for the mu'min. Akhirah meaning Jannah, the seeing of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So this is a prison, as it comes in a hadith, yeah, for a believer in that essence. But now talking about the actual life of Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam in this dunya, what is coming, what is ahead for you, it is far more better. And we have discussed that, like how Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam left Mecca, in Hijrah, leaving his home, yeah, he became homeless, he was removed, yeah, like deported basically in that kind of situation. I mean, removed, people were after him, people were after his companions and things like that. And how he came back, we all know. Fath Makkah. Ayah number 5. وَلَسَوْفَ يُعْطِيكَ رَبُّكَ فَتَرْضَى. And your Lord is going to give you and you will be satisfied. One is satisfaction is what we said earlier. He will be able to drag out this failed nation from the darknesses of Jahiliyyah with this syllabus, with this Quran. So this is one satisfaction that Allah gave to him. The akhirah is, of course, akhirah is always وَلَسَوْفَ يُعْطِيكَ رَبُّكَ فَتَرْضَى. Allah will give you satisfaction which is related to akhirah. There is no doubt about that. But if it's related to this dunya, so this is that he will receive whatever he is aiming for, whatever he is looking for, he will have that. And there is lots of it. And they even say, yeah, وَلَسَوْفَ يُعْطِيكَ. It does not say what Allah will give. So meaning Allah will give and give and give. There is no limit whatsoever on it. And you can understand example in this dunya. If you were to tell a child, yeah, basically, like if I was to tell Anas that I will give you a gift after the class, yeah, and give you something amazing, then Anas will be very happy that, yeah, I'll receive something amazing, yeah, later on. And then I gave him a £1 toy, basically. Would he be happy, or would even his happiness before me giving him the toy was more, yeah, than when I gave him the toy? Is that right or wrong? It is wrong. He will have bigger ambitions. He wants something more. The same thing you can do with like a homeless person. Yeah, the ulama give example of them. A person who is completely homeless, he does not have anything, but then someone comes up and give him a letter that your dad was a billionaire who has died and you were one of his cell basically, so you have received some of inheritance. But you can take this letter after 30 days and they will give you this mansion of yours. Yeah, but then you need to wait for 30 days. This guy who is eating leaves, this guy, he does not have any shelter now. This guy, he is completely free of any whatsoever luxury. How content he will be with this letter? He will be on a different level, yeah? Because he understands what he is getting. So this is the situation of a believer. When Allah gives, like Rasulullah has been given guarantee that Allah will make you pleased. So no matter how many oppression he is going through, his companions are tortured left and right. He is seeing all sorts of troubles, whether it is in Mecca or Medina, munafiqeen and all this filth that's coming from all sides, but he is fully content. He knows what Allah has promised to him. Does that make sense? Or you can take example of you guys, most of you, yeah? All of you, no most of you, the one who's sitting here. When they are told that you're getting married and your thing is being set, yeah, before you even feel the amazements of marriage, you're already feeling it, yeah, in your brain. So everything you know, feel yourself basically. Yeah? Okay, fatarba, ulama say that Allah will make you satisfied, that this one is sufficient and it is comprehensive, so comprehensive that we said like previously, yeah, you can write books upon books. وَلَسَوْفَ يَرْضَى, the one for the ummah of Rasul sallallahu alayhi wasallam, which is in the previous surah, and here is fatarba for the Prophet and anyone who follows his footsteps basically. Ayah number 6. أَلَمْ يَجِدْكَ يَتِيمًا فَآوَى. Did he not find you an orphan and give refuge? Like this, they relate to the tarbiyah basically, yeah. But what is it in the previous, yeah, the past, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, like this is given as a proof that Allah will give you better. Like you can think about what you were before. Like in here it talks about how weak he was basically in the society. Now how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala honored him, how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has done favors on him in the past. So this is a proof that he will do it to him in the future. Does that make sense? So this, his own life is given as a proof to Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And this you can do it yourself. When you are down, you're feeling down, like you don't see any light in the front, you can ponder over your past, how many troubles and how many issues you were able to pass, and then you reach this stage. So inshallah, which is coming ahead will be the same thing. And in here, very interesting point that I want to mention basically, and very related. Many people are affected by this fitna, so we will need to mention. Dr. Israr Ahmad and other Mufassirun, they talk about this situation basically. That in here, it says, Alam yajidka yatiman fa'awa, yeah? It talks about when Rasulullah was orphan, and Allah made an environment for Rasulullah that he was looked after. So meaning, when his dad passed away, mom was there, his granddad was there, his uncles were there throughout, and he was well supported. And in reality, they say that in the history books and the Seerah books, the name of Abdul Muttalib, that's been pushed and pushed and pushed, that you don't see what has really happened. And he gives proof on this, Dr. Salam Ahmad and other ulama. So he says, you see, there was the granddad of Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam, which he looked after, Abdul Muttalib looked after Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam, yeah. Then there was his great uncle who was responsible for Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam. His name is Zubayr bin Abdul Muttalib, his great dad. So he was elder than Abdul Muttalib, than Abu Talib, yeah, who was poor. He did not have anything. And this Zubayr ibn Abdul Muttalib, he was like the one who looked after all the treasures of Abdul Muttalib. So he was the guy basically. And how he was, so they're saying that Rasulullah was under the provision of Zubayr, not Abu Talib. Maybe later on down the line, yeah, but it is not. If you look at the history, if you look at their lives, it is under the Zubayr, his great uncle. It was under his provision. And they give a thing, yeah, from the history. You know, Hilf al-Fudul, yeah, Hilf al-Fudul, that has happened. There was this agreement that happened before Rasulullah was a prophet basically. And this happened in 590, yeah. And it was after Rasulullah was born, but it was before his prophethood basically. It happened in 590, where these people, the leaders, came together in Mecca, and they made this pact that they will look after the weak in the society, especially those people whom did not have any protection of the clans basically. And the one who organized this, and the one who was like the pinnacle of this agreement, it was this Zubayr, this uncle of Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam, the elder of it. So what did he say? This happened in 590, and Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam is born in 570, yeah. So there is like 20-year gap. So this great uncle of Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam was there till at least he was 20-year-old. And they say, Dr. Ahmad mentioned this, yeah, that these people, they have removed the name of Zubayr from the Seerah list of the one who looked after Rasulullah with a clear purpose, with a reason, yeah, hinting at Abu Talib that his name has been pushed everywhere and like he is the guy. But in reality, this is what has happened in the history. Wallahu a'lam, it's all history. That they say Tariq to Tariq here. We don't know, we don't trust anything. Whatever we trust is what is in front of us in the Quran. Okay. So that was related to that. Now, how did Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala look after him while he was orphan? We said that he provided for him these people that were available. And who were they? They were just nobodies from the street, yeah. They were those people who looked after this house. So they had a huge honor. They were on a different level, and they were not some poor nobodies, yeah. They were rich. They were proper rich people. You can look at the history, yeah. Look, Abdul Muttalib, like he says, 100 camel here, he sacrificed for the dad of Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam, Abdullah. Yeah, you have heard this in the Seerah, yeah. This 100 camel sacrifice for him, then 100 camel taken by Abraha. So what does that show? These guys they were not some nobodies, and also they were doing trades on international levels. His uncle and so on, his father was a tradesman as well. So he had sufficient of wealth, which is happening later on. That didn't we find you, like is coming later on, we'll explain that later. But he had everything looked after. Where the yatim and the orphans, they were kicked out and their wealth and things were taken away, Allah had given special protection to Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam in this time where there was like no protection. The the yatim and the weak, they were like nobodies. There was like no system whatsoever for them. But Allah had managed for Rasul sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. What is the next one? ألم يجدك يتيما فآوى ووجدك ضالا فهدى, and he found you lost, Heran Farishan. Yeah, this is one understanding. In search of truth basically, and guided. So what is Dal? Dalan, this is, we said a long time ago that I'm very careful with the word this, yeah, and this was the reason. Because in here the Dal can have lots of meanings, yeah, like in there, when you call it Dalin, those people have gone astray, but here is a completely different meaning. Rasul sallallahu alayhi wa sallam was in search of truth. When someone is in loss, someone is in need of something, then they, like even there is a saying in Qurtubi, they bring this understanding. Like it says, Dalun Shajara, yeah, a tree which is standing alone basically. This is one understanding. Yeah, that Rasul sallallahu alayhi wa sallam was alone. Allah gave him lots of companions. Yeah, does that make sense? So this is, Dal means standing alone, and he had now lots of people. But this is from our Iman. This is what we believe in, that the Prophet, all prophets, from right when they were born, all the way till they die, they don't commit any sin, especially shirk, especially anything which relates to Tawheed. They are always on fitrah, they are always on Tawheed. So this is in our belief. And this, it's not a like far-fetched idea. Look at the Seerah. There were people who were called Muwahideen, who they were called Hunafa basically. Those people who truly believed in Tawheed. Yeah, and they used to call these Mushrikeen of Makkah when they used to do, and they used to call them, and they used to get beaten up. Yeah, this is in the Seerah. So Rasul sallallahu alayhi wa sallam is on a different level. Allah has protected him from any source of being going astray. But this is that Rasul sallallahu alayhi wa sallam was in need. He was looking again and again. Yeah, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala brings this account and it says, وَكَذَلِكَ أَوْحَيْنَا إِلَيْكَ رُوحًا مِّنْ أَمْرِنَا مَا كُنْتَ تَدْرِي مَا الْكِتَابُ وَلَا الْإِيمَانُ وَلَكِنْ جَعَلْنَاهُ نُورًا نَهْدِي بِهِ مَنْ نَشَاءُ مِنْ عِبَادِنَا وَإِنَّكَ لَتَهْدِي إِلَى صِرَاطٍ مُسْتَقِيمٍ. So this explains it better, yeah. And thus we had revealed to you an inspiration of our command, i.e. the Quran, yeah. You did not know what is the book or faith, but we have made it a light by which we guided whom we will of our servants, and indeed Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam, yeah, you guide to a straight path. Meaning Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam was looking for a path, yeah, and Allah gave it to him. He was looking for to take the people from the rubbish, from the darknesses out. Allah gave it to him. He was alone. If you say Dal in that way, he was alone. Allah gave him lots of companions. Does that make sense? I've understood. Yeah, I gave you like 3 different opinions, understandings of the same thing, which removes anything that you can ever think ill about. Okay, going to ayah number 8. وَوَجَدَكَ عَائِلًا فَأَغْنَى, and he found you in need, then made you need free. This does not relate to, with a good opinion, better opinion, it does not relate to any wealth problem Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam had. No. Yeah, people relate to, before he got married to Khadija radhiallahu anhu, he was this in need of wealth, and this need. They bring so many tales and things like that. But hadith, there are various hadith which talks about the ghina of nafs, that when Allah makes you, the hadith says, in this meaning, قَدْ أَفْلَحَ مَنْ أَسْلَمَ وَرُزِقَ كَفَافًا وَقَنَّعَهُ اللَّهُ بِمَا آتَاهُ. The Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, wealth is not in living many that was a different hadith, yeah. He is successful who has accepted Islam, who has been provided with sufficient for his want, and been made contented by Allah with what He has given him. So this is the ghina of nafs, that you are happy with whatever Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given to you, then you are a rich man. And in a different place, it talks about the iman basically, yeah. It says, Rasul sallallahu have been narrated to have said, ليس الغنى عن كثرة العرب ولكن الغنى غنى النفس. Rasul sallallahu said, wealth is not in having many possessions, but rather wealth is feeling sufficiency in the soul. So you are fully there, yeah. Some people who have lots of wealth, but they are like dogs barking after every single thing, yeah. They are there, whatever opportunity is given, yeah, they are there and rushing left and right, yeah. Those people who do taxis, you can look at them. There are some people, they have lots of wealth, but they're always there and doing taxis, and there are people, security guards, they're working 24 hours and things like that, yeah. These people, they have lots of wealth, but they do not have it internally. They are not satisfied, basically. But then there will be these people who have very little, but they are satisfied with what Allah has given to them. They are content, and they're not going to cross any boundaries to achieve further, yeah. And in here, and we already mentioned, yeah, they talking about the life of Rasulullah when it comes to the actual wealth of dunya. He had sufficient. He had his family that was good enough. He had his surrounding. He had everything. So there was no need of him having any problem with wealth, basically. And it comes, the ulama mention, yeah, there's three things that we mentioned in here. That in here a da'i take lesson. There are three things one needs to do from this. One, a da'i of Islam, he needs to have a refuge, yeah, like has been talked about. Alam yajidka yatiman fa'awa. In here, you need to have a refuge. You need to have like a mosque. You need to have a center. You need to have your own hub, basically. This is one need you need to have. Number two, it says وَوَجَدَكَ ضَالًّا فَهَدَى, yeah. So it talks about the knowledge. You need to have the knowledge of the wahi. You need to have the knowledge of Quran. And number three is ghina. You need to be full. You do not rely. You do not look at people's forehead. You do not look at people's pocket. As soon as their hand go, maybe there's Zangari and you look at the pockets. Yeah, not that kind of situation. Yeah. Do not look at people's pocket. This is not going to be your situation. You'll be completely free of need of the human beings. This will a da'i of Islam needs to have these three things. When he has this, he will be able to succeed. Otherwise, he will be like, what is this situation of the ummah? Yeah, you know what we're talking about here. Ayah number 9. فَأَمَّا الْيَتِيمَ فَلَا تَقْهَرْ. So as for the orphans, do not oppress. Now look at what Allah has done to you. Allah has honored you. Now meaning, take your attention from yourself, look after your society, look around you, and also like how He has honored you, you will do the same to His creation. And there are many things. Rasulullah has emphasizes looking after the yatim so much. Yeah, there are like so many hadiths you can learn. Yeah, but we will leave that to this side. But you know what we're talking about. Looking after, giving ikram to the yatim is farad. Looking after them is farad. It is compulsory. It is as compulsory as you standing on the praying salah. Yeah. If you avoid that, if you do not give the ikram, if you do not look after the weak in the society, if you do not look after the orphans while you can, you have the capacity, you are a huge criminal in the sight of Allah. It is as you are criminal, the one who does not pray, the one who does not look after. It's same thing. Yeah. But we have lost our path. That's why our situation is terrible. Ayah number 10. وَأَمَّا السَّائِلَ فَلَا تَنْهَرْ. And as for the beggar, do not scold him. There are opinions in here, but in one is that just a beggar who looks after who wants some sort of money or some sort of wealth and things like that. Yeah, you give. You do not scold them off. Yeah, if you can give. If you can't, then you can say it in a nicer manner. Yeah, don't scold them off. That's one. And their opinion is not that strong. The other one, which is more related to وَأَمَّا السَّائِلِ, it is the one who asks of knowledge of Islam, the one who is in need of knowledge. Yeah, this is a sa'il. This is that kind of a questioner. So do not scold him off. You were, like it says, yeah, well, we link it back to the actual ayats. Yeah, look at the ayats. فَأَمَّا الْيَتِيمَ فَلَا تَقْهَرْ, which is related to أَلَمْ يَجِدْكَ يَتِيمًا فَآوَى. Yes, yeah, yatim, and then you were given. Yeah, look at that ayah. Then it says فَأَمَّا الْيَتِيمَ, when the yatim comes, do not scold him. Yeah. Then the next ayah, which is number 7. Yeah. وَوَجَدَكَ ضَالًّا فَهَدَى. He was lost and Allah guided him. Yeah. So what happens? وَأَمَّا السَّائِلَ فَلَا تَنْهَرْ. When a questioner comes, you will give. Yeah. Like nowadays, the people are in the awe of, or they are like in the need of this celebrity. Yeah. That the celebrity needs to give them time. No. Like you need to wait for the celebrity, yeah, to ask question. The celebrity has to wait for the questioner. They needs to honor, no matter what kind of a question it is. Yeah, no matter how it's out of the topic, you're not going to like that kind of situation. Yeah, don't. That guy is in need. He needs it. He wants it. You will give it. If you have it, you will give it. You're not going to show some sort of Allah gave it to you. You will give it back. Yeah, it's that kind of situation. So it relates to the previous surah, like how you were in lost state and Allah gave it to you free of charge. Yeah, they did not give anything to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and Allah gave it to you. You're going to do the same service. You're going to do free service and you will give it free to the people. Well, and we continue, yeah, there are so many things in here, but it's just because we need to go to the other surah. And another, yeah, one really very important point, yeah. And in here, when a questioner comes to you, like nowadays, yeah, kids and things like that, some elders find it very tough. Those elders sitting at the back, they will understand better, inshallah. That when you have these kids, they come to you, ask you a question, maybe your children, yeah, they come to you and ask you a question and they ask some silly question and you're like, get lost. Yeah, you got too many questions, you got this and this, and always telling them off, yeah, that kind of situation. You are not here to listen to them. Outside, many people are there to listen. Like, just ask your kids, yeah, do you like to go to the masjid or you like to go to the school? They will give you answer. You will realize what has happened. Would they enjoy conversation with you as a parent, or they are better enjoying it with their teachers outside? This is a problem. You will put yourself down. You need to humble yourself to these. You need to give them time. You need to give them honor. If you don't, other people are available and they'll take you far away from you when you are there and begging them back and telling them, they are not going to care. Yeah, so it's a important information. Okay, last ayah. وَأَمَّا بِنِعْمَةِ رَبِّكَ فَحَدِّثْ. As for the favor of your Lord, report it. Yeah, this will even relate to the previous ayah, the third blessing that Allah has done on Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam, which is now the shukriya, is at the end. Yeah, it's related to that. So Allah has given you whatever blessing He has given you. Yeah, the favor. What is the biggest favor of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala on Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam? Quran. This guidance. Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam came to implement the Quran. Yeah, what is the biggest blessing that Allah has given to us? Quran. Yeah, same thing. Quran, Quran, Quran. So you will implement Quran, you will report it, you will not hide it whatsoever. Now the situation comes in that you take money on it, you do not give it when there is no money, you do not work when there is no money, you do not work when there is no reputation, you do not call people when there is no, say, someone clapping you. Basically, are you giving the right of the Quran or not? Yeah, so all these things are related, and there are again many things, but we will leave that here because we need to move on to the other surah. We had to make it short and sweet. We're going to the next surah. Yeah, Alam Nashrah. Okay, same thing is happening in this surah. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is giving tasalli to Rasul sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, and we have already mentioned how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala removed the burden from Rasul sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. But in here it starts from Alam Nashrah laka sadrak, which is a beautifully, did we not expand for you your breast? Yeah, so Allah gave all sorts of khair to Rasul sallallahu alayhi wa sallam so he could endure all these things. But we can link the entire surah of Ad-Duha with Alam Nashrah, and they are so beautifully coherent, but because we don't have time, we're going to skip that. And those people who wants to know about it, inshallah, we can talk about it. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. In the name of Allah, the one in whose hand is Usr and Yusr. The Ar-Rahman, the entirely merciful. He has made guidance available to all. Ar-Rahim, the especially merciful. Rasul and his follower are specialized for Sharh Sadr. Alam nashrah laka sadrak. Did we not expand for you your breast? نورناه وجعلناه فسيحا رحيبا واسعا. We illuminated it and we made it spacious, vast and wide. Okay, and there is a narration that people bring when they talk about the surah, which is called Shaqq Sadr, the cutting of the chest. And there are various narrations that's out there, yeah, that they say Jibreel alayhi salam came in and he cut Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam and his breast was cleansed and things like that. Yeah, they narrate this story basically. But there is a Mufassir of Quran, Ruhul Maani, yeah, Alusi. He gives his say on it, and he says, حمل الشرح في الآية على ذلك شق ضعيف عند المحققين. In the side of the research scholars, it is a weak thing to regard Sharhi Sadr with Shaqq Sadr. So that those people who are aware of that story, there is nothing whatsoever in the Quran which alludes to that. It is a wrong thing Now we can even link at that, and we can talk about this in various different ways, that how that is not relevant to this ayah. However, no matter what kind of tafsir you look at, they will never bring that story as the shan nuzuli of this surah, basically. Yeah. So this is even most of the all the tafsir we're talking about. Those who are aware, you would have understood. Those who are not aware, you'll be thinking, now what this guy is talking about. But leave it there. Yeah. What is Sharh Sadr basically? It is the same thing when calamities, when you have worries and concerns and things like that, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives you some sort of comfort. He gives you relief in that time. This is called Sharh Sadr. Like how Musa alayhi salam, yeah, his story will make sense to you. In there it says, قال رب إني أخاف أن يكذبون ويضيق صدري ولا ينطلق لساني فأرسل إلى هارون ولهم علي ذنب فأخاف أن يقتلون. In this, Musa alayhi salam is speaking to to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and before he makes a dua, قال ربش شرح لي صدري, yeah, in the same thing, expand my chest. Yeah, before that dua happens, here is this conversation with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He says, my Lord, indeed I fear that they will deny me, meaning they will reject me, and that my breast will tighten and my tongue will not be fluent. So send for Harun, yeah, send him along with me. And they have a charge of a crime against me, and I fear that they may slay me. Allah said, no, go both of you with our signs, indeed we are with listening. With you listening. Yeah. So this was his chest was tight, and Allah gave him sharh sadr, like alam nashrah laka sadr, qala rabbi shrah li sadri wa yassir li amri wahlul 'uqdatan min lisani yafqahu qawli waj'al li waziran min ahli harun akhi. So same conversation but in a different way. So his sharh was opened up, his chest was opened up, and his help, the help of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala came. So this is what. And the other ulama say, they give a beautiful point in here, that Musa alayhi salam had to ask for it, and he was given, and Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam did not ask, and Allah gave. So it is a beautiful thing. Now, and same thing happens to us as well. It is not just for the prophets that Allah opened the chests. It happens to us. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, فَمَنْ يُرِدِ اللَّهُ أَنْ يَهْدِيَهُ يَشْرَحْ صَدْرَهُ لِلْإِسْلَامِ. So whoever Allah wants to guide, He expands his breast to Islam. Does that make sense? So it is the expandment of the breast basically, and it happens to everyone. Whoever wants it, Allah gives it to them. وَوَضَعْنَا عَنْكَ وِزْرَكَ, and we remove from you your burden. The burden which you couldn't carry basically was removed from you. There are many opinions, yeah. So one of them, the burden, we said, yeah, the oppression, the pride, the tribalism, the shirk, and so on, the filth that he was seeing in the society, and he wanted to remove that. He wanted to bring these people back to reality. Allah gave him Quran, Allah gave him this hidayah with which we could do that. Like a syllabus was given to Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And from Sharh Sadr is Allah gave him Ad-Duha, the previous surah. He was in concern, he was worried, and Allah gave him Ad-Duha, that yes, Allah has not abandoned you. Ma wadda'aka rabbuka wa ma qala, neither Allah hates you. So this is what? This is a burden that was removed from Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and there are many other things, but we will leave it to that. Continue to ayah number 3. الَّذِي أَنْقَضَ ظَهْرَكَ, which had weighed upon your back. Yeah, like we said earlier, yeah, the Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam, seeing that is like it is our situation of the ummah. We are like flattened to the earth. Allah gave us the Quran. Allah has given us the Quran. And you have been given the opportunity, like you take your own situation, forget about the ummah. You are a different level there. You look at around you, how many friends that you have, how many people that you know, they don't have any clue whatsoever about Quran. But Allah has given you now the opportunity. You are sitting in front of the Quran, you are understanding the Quran. Your understanding of religion will be completely different than them. When they are asked a question about certain aspect of Islam, they will be confused, they will be in doubt, they might lose Islam. But you will not be able to do that because you have understood the Quran. So this burden which could put you down, your iman, your aqidah of Islam will be completely destroyed. Allah has given you this sharh sadr. Allah has given you this Quran with which your breast has been opened up. You can understand Quran and you can get back to them with a better answer that the thing that they put in front of you will be destroyed. And there are so many things that ulama mentioned in each of the ayat, but we only go about 6-7 minutes, so that's why we are rushing it here. Ayah number 4, وَرَفَعْنَا لَكَ ذِكْرَكَ, and raise high for you your repute. In here, dhikrak is the Quran itself. Allah has raised this Quran. There is no, throughout the history, look at what has the Quran has done. How many people, how many things Allah has defeated with this very Quran. Whether it was the poetry, whether it was the writing of the books, whether it's about nahu, sarf and so on, whether it is the current science right now. Yeah, it is being defeated. It has been humbled in front of the Quran. The theories and the things of the science, they have been proven wrong, and Quran has been kept in the same way. And it will continue in that way. So Allah has raised what Allah gave to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam over every other thing you can ever imagine, basically. Yeah, and also the dhikr is the name of Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam 24/7. Allahu Akbar, that happens the adhan, Muhammadur Rasulullah, that's happening every 24 hours. The way Allah has raised His name, that we love to have the name of Muhammad for our children and so on. So many things. Yeah, and in the Quran they have got a list that I can read out to you, the way Allah has honored Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So there are so many things. And even in the life of Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam, how did he go out from Hijrah and how he came back as a conquering the land. His name was raised. People feared him in far and east and everywhere. Yeah, even though in a little while, in 10 years, what he achieved is a huge task. Yeah, that Allah raised him. فَإِنَّ مَعَ الْعُسْرِ يُسْرًا, for indeed with hardship, in brackets, will be ease, i.e. relief. And there is talk, like how we said, yeah, وَالضُّحَى وَاللَّيْلِ إِذَا سَجَى, in the beginning, with the night there is day, same thing. No matter how dark it becomes, there is always daylight that's coming ahead. So have hope high with Allah. So you see too many difficulties, you see too many problems, no, there is a day that's coming up, a relief is coming. And same thing with the relief, yeah, do not become arrogant, do not think that you have achieved something huge and now you are mighty and you have children, you have businesses and you got this and this. Do not think that, yeah, this can change suddenly in one go. Yeah, and those people, most of you don't know that, so I'll just leave that story. But there are people who worked and they achieved so much and they fall ill, cancer, AIDS, someone die, accident, lose their limbs and things like that. Everything is changed. وَتِلْكَ الْأَيَّامُ نُدَاوِلُهَا بَيْنَ النَّاسِ. This time that's been changing around people. So do not be content with what good you have, and do not become hopeless if you are in time of sorrow, basically. Yeah. إِنَّ مَعَ الْعُسْرِ يُسْرًا, indeed with hardship, ease. Yeah. So like how the repetition of this has come. Yeah, the repetition of these two ayat, same thing, is the repetition of good and ease, comfort and thing. Yeah, it is the repetition throughout your life. It's not going to be forever one thing. It is only going to be one thing when we move on to akhirah. It's going to be difficulties upon difficulties, and it will increase and increase, and difficulties only for the criminals, and the goodness will only increase for the pious. That's when it's going to be separated. In this dunya, it's not going to be. It's going to be that cycle continuous. Ayah number 7. فَإِذَا فَرَرْتَ فَانْصَبْ. So when you have finished, then stand up. You have seen, like there is so much talk in here as well, but I'll give you a tiny example. Yeah, that when Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam is going through giving da'wah and doing whatever he is doing during the streets and things like that, and people are saying everything. Now when he stands up in front of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, his situation will be different. He will enjoy that a lot more than what he is doing with the people. And the example of that is the Musa alayhi salam. There is so much relevance of Musa alayhi salam and Rasul sallallahu alayhi wasallam. You must have heard in Surah Taha, yeah, that when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala asked Musa alayhi salam about the stick, what he has in his hand, yeah, وَمَا تِلْكَ بِيَمِينِكَ يَا مُوسَى, yeah, what is in your hand, O Musa? What does he say? He could just respond, عصاي. I said done, yeah, but what did he say? قال هي عصاي أتوكأ عليها وأهش بها على غنمي ولي فيها مآرب أخرى. He gives and talks about this stick for so long, like, yeah, and he says it has so many more benefits, meaning I can go on and on and on, but it is out of disrespect to just make it too long. Yeah, but he is enjoying the conversation with Allah subhanahu. That's why he is making it longer, because he loves what he is doing. Same thing. that he asks Allah subhanahu to see him when he is speaking. His love increases because their connection with Allah, their muhib, the one they love, the one they love, when they speaking to them is on a different level. I can give you some stupid example. Those, some of you will understand. Those people who the nikah is done, and before they meet their buddies, they like to talk to them for hours upon hours, and it doesn't finish in Ad-Duha. You just enjoy it. Because you love that person. So this is on a different level. What is going to be a love of a human with a human? The true love is with the master. وَالَّذِينَ آمَنُوا أَشَدُّ حُبًّا لِلَّهِ. The strongest of love is with Allah, that you will enjoy. Those people who stands up in tahajjud, those people who understand the Quran, why do they cry? Why they enjoy it? Why they stand up? Why do they have to get up from their bed, sleeping nice, and they still wake up and they do that? Why do we leave so many things for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? Why? Because we love Allah. We have a different connection with Allah. Does that make sense? So this is that when you have done whatever you have been doing, calling people to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and going through tortures, people calling you backward and this and that, whatever, come back to Allah and enjoy, basically. And this is further illustrated in the next ayah. وَإِلَىٰ رَبِّكَ فَارْغَبْ. And to your Lord direct longing, to turn to Him is in sincerity, basically. And then there is again lots of talk, but just summarize it basically. In Tafseer ibn Kathir from Tabari, he narrates. It says, قال مجاهد في هذه الآية إذا فرغت من أمر الدنيا فقمت إلى الصلاة فانصب لربك. Mujahid said concerning this ayah, when you are free from the worldly affairs, you have stood to pray, then stand up for your Lord. He says, whatever you have finished with the affairs of dunya, or this will relate to like you have done your work, you just been to your shift and things like that, or whatever chores you were doing, you meant to do that, then turn your longing to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It does not mean like nowadays, when there's like Eid and things like that, and other situation, we leave Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and His remembrances, thinking this is like our holiday. It is not. There is never a holiday in a human being life. You're either doing something to fulfill the rights of the human being, or you are doing it directly with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So these go hand in hand, meaning you as a father, as a son, and so on, you go out to do some sort of chore of dunya, looking after the maybe your little brothers and sisters and things like that, or you're going out to earn wealth and things like that. This is one huququl ibad that you're doing, basically looking after your own body. You go to a gym, basically you put some sweat in. All these are good things in itself. Then does not mean that you have done one part and then you don't have anything else. You come back to Allah subhanahu, you pick up the Quran, you understand the Quran, you sit in front of, you pray your salah, you do your nawafil and things like that. So you are 24 hours busy with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So there is like a no gap, basically. And there is another thing, and there it says, when you have finished, then stand up to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And here the last ayah, وَإِلَىٰ رَبِّكَ فَارْغَبْ. One important ayah, one important thing. And this will basically summarize everything that we have studied. That when you do an ibadah, when you do some sort of thing, amazing feat you have achieved, do not think that this will take you to, or this will give you success, basically. وَإِلَىٰ رَبِّكَ فَارْغَبْ. The same thing we done with in اقرأ بسم ربك الذي خلق. The last ayah is summarized everything. Those people who haven't, they can look in the videos. This same thing, that whatever you have done, now you will turn to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in forgiveness and asking Allah, oh Allah, accept this for me. Do not think that this itself has given you the certificate that you have received your degree. You will be still in need of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You will still hope in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mercy. Does that make sense? Meaning the deeds of yours does not become your God. They do not become your ilah. Is that understood? So everything you do it. You will have to do that. And then you will hope in Allah's mercy that Allah accepts. Now, beginning and the ending, the one who has done your Sharh Sadr, basically, that I mentioned at the beginning, spend quality time with him. Do it only for him. That is happening at the end. Like how he was your only guide to your inner satisfaction, same thing, he needs to become your master. You are his servant at all time. And he gave you all the tools necessary for the job. which is Alam nashrah laka sadrak wa wada'na anka wizrak, and so on. Allah gave you all the things. So now what you need to do, wa ila rabbika farghab, you will have to do with 100%. And we didn't link Ad-Duha and the other surahs, but we did the beginning, all the surahs till the end. Qul a'udhu birabbin nas. We linked all the surahs. So I think we leave it here. Jazakallah khair. May Allah accept the goods from us and accept the shortcomings. We had to squeeze so many things in, so there was like no rhythm in it. But this is a problem when we don't have time and we don't have people who can come regularly for 5-6 hours a day. So we don't have that opportunity we can spend, and then we can really exhaust ourselves in the study of Quran and understand, because itself the Quran, the things that we're taking out, the benefits of it is on the top. So you can take it from the translation of the Quran. But now if you want to deep ponder over it, then that requires more time. You can like how do we take our benefit? Like how did we take benefit out from the revelation? Like it's tasalli to comfort to Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam, a time when the revelation is stopped. So how did we link it with our time? Like we linked to even the new converts and things like that. So this requires time. This requires pondering, and for that we need to give time. And the best thing that we can give time to is the Quran. But unfortunately, we don't have it. May Allah give us the correct understanding of the Quran. May Allah forgive our shortcomings. بارك الله لي ولكم في القرآن العظيم ونفعني وإياكم بالآيات